This conference will now be recorded.
Great. Hi everyone. Welcome to this session on career post MBA. Now, I have been getting a lot of queries from quite a few of you over one-to-one chat, and whenever you try to give us a call, that is this the right time to pursue your master's degree? Now, this could be a MBA degree or this could be any other degree, but what's more important is this the right time to go for MBA or say masters in any of the specific courses say provided by institutes like this? Is this the right time? Is COVID the right time? Should I continue with my job or should I quit my job, go for studies? What should I do? And that's a set of questions which keeps boggling your minds. Then the second set of questions is, what would I land into, post my MBA? What kind of profiles would I get? Then the third set of questions is, what kind of salaries would I get? Another important question. Do I get all those fancy salaries, which get published in the placement reports, or what's the reality? What's that I'm going to land into? Say at a median level. When I say median, that's what maximum people in a college get into. Obviously, if say you are the topper of a college or among top 10 in a college, definitely you will be at the upper end of the spectrum. But in general, what's the median process? What's the median salary which colleges in different tiers may offer you? These are some of the questions which I believe are very important for all of us to understand. And while the right time of getting these questions answered is once you are done with your personal interview, you have your converts in hand, and you are comparing the colleges where to join. We will definitely be doing these sessions at that particular point of time as well. But the reason I'm doing this session at this juncture is so that you know that what you are preparing for, you are rightly motivated to achieve your dreams. You are in the right zone. You are in the right zone to achieve what you have always wanted to, in terms of the profiles you want to work for, in terms of the salaries you want to go for. So it's very important for us to be clear about what we are preparing for. Everyone keeps saying that, do well in your entrance exam at this level, you would get into a top tier B school, etc., etc. So it's very important for us to know and be able to talk about it with anyone who is, say, questioning us or is trying to give us certain gyan which may not always be right. So this session is more about giving you the basis to take an informed decision to be able to take your career ahead. And while I will quickly take 10 to 15 minutes to run you through this particular presentation, and then I will take up all the queries which you may have, and we will take up all those queries. Now, just to start off, these are some of the sectors in which you may land after your masters. Now, you may land into FMCG companies. When I say FMCG, I mean companies like Procter and Gamble, HUL, Cadbury, Nestle, uh, Parley, Marico. All these are big FMCG companies. You may get into into one of the profiles, be it in different specializations. The second set of companies which offer jobs at the top B schools or at the top colleges are the pharmaceutical companies. That's where you can get into as well. The third sector, very popular these days, e-commerce. Amazon is one of the top recruiters in all the top colleges, one of the highest paying companies as well. So Amazon is there, then definitely other companies like Flipkart, etc., etc., and other startups in the space are there. Then there are a lot of technology companies. You have Google going to B schools, you have Microsoft going to B schools, you have Adobe going to B schools. All the top technology companies, including the technology startups, they go into all the top B schools to recruit. Then we have IT companies, just like they go in graduation colleges, they also go in uh, post grad colleges, and they offer a different set of roles. different set of profiles when they go to some of the top B schools. Then you have consulting companies. You must have heard the name of Big Four. People call Deloitte is there. Then people called A.T. Kearney is there. People call McKinsey, Bain, BCG. All these top consulting companies, they go to some of the top B schools out there for recruitment. Then for people passionate for media and advertising, there are a lot of media companies which go into top B schools. Here, one of the top preferences could be even MICA, which is mostly known as the Mecca of media and advertising. So you will find all the top advertising companies going over there, all the top media companies going over there. Then you have manufacturing companies. You talk about Toyota, you talk about L&T, you talk about Mahindra and Mahindra, you talk about Suzuki, you talk about Honda. All these companies, they go to top B schools for recruitment in India. And then definitely you have telecom sector. Here you have Airtel, Vodafone as the most preferred recruiters. Airtel and Vodafone, they recruit a lot from some of the top B schools. Then you have other telecom companies as well which do the recruitment. So these are some of the most preferred sectors, most loved sectors where a lot of you would be competing with each other once you get into a top B school to get through. And that's where the true journey of your of your endeavor to get into a very, very good profile for a very strong career ahead start. So this is a quick overview of the sectors. Now, another important question which a lot of you ask is, what kind of profiles am I going to get into, right? So for people who are interested in finance, there are a lot of profiles. It's not just investment banking. Most of us only know investment banking as the finance profile. It's just one of the profiles, and we should always know this fact that investment banking is only and only offered in some of the top tier IMs and some of the other 2 or 3 B schools. Rest nowhere is investment banking offered. You will find it in Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow, Indore, Kozhikode. You will find it in SP Jan. You will find it in MDI, and you will find it in FMS, and then mostly you will find it in NITI. But most of the other B schools will not have investment banking. It's a very, very niche profile offered in a select set of B schools. But the other finance profiles like merchant banking, private banking, retail banking, risk management, treasury, project finance, they will be offered across the B schools. So that this is a major set of finance profiles. I would not get into say what kind of work would you be doing in these profiles. I will share with you an article tomorrow which will talk about these profiles in detail in terms of what work would you be doing in these profiles. But to give you an idea that these are a set of majority of profiles which you would get in finance. Banks also offer profiles in operations. Banks also offer profile in sales. Banks also offer profile in client relationship. But I have not mentioned them over here because they are majorly, say, a marketing profile and not a core finance profile. The profiles I have mentioned over here, these are the core finance profiles which you would get in some of the top B schools. The next set is the marketing one, and the first profile which I've mentioned is the profile which probably everyone who wants to do MBA in marketing dreams to get into, that is brand management. So brand managers of all the top companies you may think of, they are mostly MBA in marketing from some of the top B schools. Whether you talk about L'Oreal, whether you talk about HUL, you talk about P&G, all their brand managers, they are mostly people who have done MBA in marketing from some of the top B schools of India. Then definitely sales is there. 60 to 70% of people who will be pursuing MBA in marketing, they will start their career from sales. Brand management is offered as the campus profile in very select set of B schools. Usually you will take 4 to 5 years to reach brand management if you are starting your career from sales. In very, very few B schools like some of the top IMs, SP Jan, MDI, FMS, that's where brand management is offered on campus. Usually for other BA schools, it takes few more years to get into brand management because Vatsal, yes, Micah, you can get brand management on campus itself. So while for other colleges, say suppose if you get into colleges like TAPMI, IFT, IMT Ghaziabad, some of the IITs out there, you may need few years to get into brand management because that's the profile which is not directly offered at campus. Other profiles: account management, business development manager, growth hacker is a very trendy profile these days, especially in the startup arena. Marketing analytics is a very upcoming profile. Again, marketing analytics is offered at campus in few colleges, Micah being one of them. Once again, as I said, Micah is the mecca of advertising and media communications. So it's very natural that most of these profiles, they are offered at campus on Micah as well. Similarly, FMS Delhi is known for marketing, and again, all these profiles are offered at FMS Delhi as well. Is branding and advertising BBA suitable for brand management? Yes, definitely. If you have done BBA in these areas, it will definitely help you during a post grad while you are trying to pursue brand management as the specialization or brand management as a profile. So brand management is usually not a specialization. Marketing will be the specialization. Brand management is a profile. However, if you get into Micah, which has all the specializations related to marketing only, Micah is the only college which provides micro specializations in marketing. So in Micah, if you get into, you can do your MBA in brand management, but if you get into IIMs, etc., you will be doing MBA in marketing, and brand management would be a profile. That is just a terminology difference. At the end of the day, it won't matter whether you are MBA in marketing or MBA in brand management. It's more about the reputation of the college from where you are pursuing your masters. What about ONGC? See, PSUs, ONGCs, they are not the top preferences of people who do their MBAs. They recruit from quite a few top schools, but they are not a day zero recruiter, not a day one recruiter. No, usually people don't prefer them as a first choice. These are usually the backup companies to which people apply. Now, while PSU thing, it looks very lucrative, being a government job. It's not something which is very attractive to people who are pursuing their masters from top B schools. Coming to HR, some of the different profiles in which you would be working if you pursue MBA in HR is talent acquisition, talent development, compensation benefits, labor relations, talent management, and HR analytics. HR analytics is a very, very trendy profile these days. Its demand is going to increase continuously from now till at least next 4 to 5 years. HR analytics is a very, very important profile. So people who are not who are interested in HR because of the skills they have, but say may not be very inclined towards talent acquisition or talent development, HR analytics is the area where you can work on. And these days, people who are doing their MBA in HR, they also work a lot on aspects like mergers and acquisitions, strategic decisions, because everywhere human resource is involved. So for example, if a company goes and acquires another company, you are going to observe that how to absorb the employees of the company which is getting acquired, who all to keep, who all to let go. These are very strategic decisions, and this is where HR managers play a very critical role. And that's where these days HR is no more seen as a support center or a cost center, but it's continuously moving towards being a strong strategic arm for any organization. Yes, the ratio for recruitment in HR is always less than the other types because the requirement of HR professionals is less in any organization. So, for example, if I am running a company of 100 people, depending upon the core offering which I have, out of those 100, 50 to 60 may be in marketing or 50 to 60 may be in finance. Then I may have 10 to 15 in operations. Then I may have another 5 to 10 in the admin role. And then probably to run an organization of 100 people, I just need say maximum of 2 to 3 HRs. So that's where That's where, if you would see, the comparative ratio for recruitment in HR is always less than the other types. That does not undermine the importance of HR. That just means that one single HR is capable of handling lot more human resources as typically, say, a marketing person or a finance person is concerned, because marketing and finance would directly impact the revenues of the company, would directly impact the operating margin of a company, and that is where marketing and finance roles, they are offered at in a massive number as compared to HR. I hope that clears your question. Another area is supply chain and operations. It's usually people have this confusion that if I do MBA in supply chain, or if I do MBA in operations, am I going to sit in a plant for my entire life? No, that's wrong. Plant manager is just one of the profiles offered in supply chain, and plant manager, you typically remain for 3 to 4 years, and then you can move on to other roles. So plant manager is more like a sales role for if you are MBA in marketing. Similarly, plant manager is the analogy for that. If you are doing your MBA in supply chain and operations, very few colleges are considered to be good in supply chain. The number one college in entire Southeast Asia for MBA in supply chain is NITI Mumbai. This is followed by IIT Bombay. This is followed by IIM Calcutta. Then you have some of the other IITs. So that's how MBA in operations is shaped up, and some of the profiles are procurement manager, plant manager, distribution manager, warehouse manager, supply chain manager, and the program manager. Program manager is a profile which is majorly offered in e-commerce companies. So if you would see, Amazon would hire people from NITI Mumbai or SP Chan in program management roles. So that's how the profiles for this particular specialization shape up. Now, which prestigious college should I keep as a backup if I don't get into an IIM from IPMAT? Bhavya, unfortunately, if IPMAT does not happen, you would have to go through a traditional path where you would do your graduation first, and then you will go for your MBA. And you can keep Delhi University as a backup, or say NMIMS as a backup, or Symbiosis as a backup for your BBA programs. Moving on, important aspect. These are some of the enhanced salaries. These are not the CTCs. Please remember, Shivashish, I'll just come to that. Suraj, you can keep Christ University as a backup. Now, coming to the fact about the salaries and not the CTCs, if you would see the in-hand salaries, if you are doing your MBA from a tier 1 college, 15 to 18 lakh per annum is your in-hand salary. Tier 2, 10 to 13 LPA. Tier 3, 7 to 9. Tier 4, 5 to 7. And that is why when most of you ask me that whether you should appear for MAT exam or not, I suggest you very strongly that please do not appear for MAT. The reason being, all the colleges of MAT, they fall under tier 4. So at the end of the day, if you are a person with 2 to 3 years of work experience who's already earning 4, 5, 6 lakh per annum, does not make sense for you to do your MBA from a tier 4 college, and hence MAT is not an exam you should be taking. Tier 3 should be your worst case backup. You should ideally be targeting for a tier 1 or a tier 2 college while you are preparing for MBA entrance examinations, because only then you will find some value in terms of not only salary, but also in terms of the career path, the career growth, which you may see post that. So that's where it's very important. It's not about just getting an MBA degree. It's also important that from which college are you getting it. Remember, MBA is the last degree of your career unless you plan to go for PhD. MBA is going to be the last degree of your career, and you should give your best to get it from the best college. You should not be compromising on the college when you especially if you are a fresher, or you are just about 2 years of work experience. That's the time you can take the risk of another year, but ensure that you only do your MBA from tier 1 or tier 2 college. Coming to some of the queries I'll take up, Shivashish, what profile after MBA should one get into if one is from a IT company background? Shivashish, you will majorly get into pre-sales roles. You will get into business development manager. You will get into account manager, or you will get into business analyst kind of roles if you are coming from IT background. So pre-sales is a very, very interesting role to get into, where where you get to learn a lot of things, and then gradually the career path takes you from pre-sales to business development manager to account manager to client partner to vertical head, and so on. Coming to Prashant, is there any specialization for project management? Prashant, no, you can get into consulting sector. Project management is a skill which is highly valued in consulting. So all the consulting companies, they are going to value your project management skills a lot, as well as the IT companies, they are going to value your project management skills a lot, plus even the e-commerce companies. Suraj, does not matter whether you go by GMAT or CAT. It does not matter. At the end of the day, what matters is what which exam is going to help you to clear the cutoff and you get into a good college. Atul, tomorrow I will be sharing with you a specialization wise college list. I will share with you a specialization wise college list for all the specializations. Just to give you an idea, if I keep IIMs aside, if I don't talk about IIMs, and if I talk about finance, SPJAN and MDI and IFT are three good options. If I talk about marketing, you have MICA as a good option, you have MDI as a good option, you have IMT Ghaziabad as a good option. If I talk about supply chain, NITI Mumbai, SPJAN, IIT Bombay. If I talk about HR, Accelerate, TIS, and SIBM Pune, SMHRD Pune, these are the best options. Yes, Yash, when I'll be sharing the articles tomorrow, I'll share with you for all the specializations. MA in ODCL. ODCL is a course run by TIS, and it's very, very close to HR. So most of the people who are having more than 2 years of experience and they cannot get into HR, they usually try to get into ODCL. ODCL is very close to HR. You can see it as one of the micro specializations within HR, and the kind of response which ODCL course at TIS has got, it's very, very encouraging. People are having 12 to 15 lakhs of average salaries in ODCL. Pratyush, yes, previous academics matter, but gradually what they have done is majorly your 10th marks would matter, and to some extent your 12th marks. Graduation marks are having least and least weightage, so you don't need to worry. And more importantly, I'd say that do not worry about your past academics. They are the things of the past. You cannot go and change them. The only thing which is in your control is to score high in the examination to strengthen your chances of getting into a top B school, irrespective of your marks. So the only thing which is in your hand, focus on that, focus on maximizing it, and rest, let the things be taken care of as you progress. I'll take some more. Anjali asked me, sir, which one is good for BCom honors like HR, finance? Anjali, usually BCom people, they go for finance or marketing. Very, very few go for HR, but if you want to continue the continuity of whatever you have studied in BCom honors, marketing or finance is the area where you should go for. Pratyush, no, these we will get into that session, where we'll talk about certifications and internships which you should do during your MBA in a separate session. Pratham, yes, you can definitely get into consulting even after MBA in HR. There are a lot of HR specific consulting companies as well. You can definitely get into consulting after MBA in HR. Nimish, if you are a person who is not from an HR background, the best way to build profile for MBA and HR is to do certain certifications in HR. This could be any certification around HR analytics, or a certification around HR processes and HR fundamentals. Sean, you will have to justify that why you want to go switch from marketing to HR. That's a very obvious question which could be asked to someone from your profile, and you should be ready for that question. We will help you with that when the time for PI preparation comes in. Don't worry. There is nothing called MBA in IT, Tushar. You don't do MBA in IT as such. You do a general MBA. You do MBA in finance. You do MBA in marketing. You do MBA in HR. You do MBA in operations. You get into IT company in one of the finance profiles, in one of the marketing profiles, in one of the operations profile, in one of the HR profiles. That's how it works, Tushar. Suraj, we are not here to discuss the rankings. Yes, Richa, your diploma in counseling and psychology is going to help you a lot in your PI, because you can very easily link a lot of things in HR to psychology, and that's going to help you. So you don't need to worry on that front. But sir, that's not going to be a problem. Every year we have at least 2 to 3 people who are preparing for MICA with us, and they are coming from Deloitte and they convert MICA. It's not a problem at all till the time you can justify why you want to do MBA in marketing. Prashant, any full-time paid work experience will be counted irrespective of the sector and the profile. Richa, you don't need to worry. Corporate experience is not a must to get into a good college. Akriti, they are not mandatory. If say you are coming from an entirely non-relevant background, you can use the certifications to showcase your inclination for HR and hence strengthen your profile, but it's not something which is mandatory. Shivashish, no, you should go for MBA in operations if you want, or no, that's the best profile if you want to get into business analyst kind of a role. Bhavya, it is not compulsory to have maths in 12th to apply for any MBA college. It's not at all mandatory. I'll come to these questions, as I cover one more slide, which I wanted. Is COVID the right time to do your MBA? If you ask me, yes, this is the right time. This is the time when there are less jobs out there. Companies are cutting down salaries. Companies are going to give minimal hikes. Very less hikes would be given. This is the right time for you to get into a B school, to get into a master's college, enhance your knowledge, learn, come back stronger after 2 years, when and by then economy would have recovered, and you would start getting those high paid jobs, well paid jobs, good profiles, good companies back to your campus for hiring. So this is the right time for all of you to go for your masters. So if you ask me, this COVID phase, this COVID era is the right time for you to get into a good college. Remember, I always stress on the fact that when it comes to your MBA or your masters, do it from a very good college. Make Vardhan, it won't make sense if you drop out IP mat after 3 years. It will be counted as nothing. If you leave the course after 3 years, it won't be counted for anything. So you should ideally not be doing it. Vatsal, if you ask me what certifications would help you for MICA, as I said, try to build a profile towards marketing. You can do a digital marketing certification. You can do a marketing analytics certification. You can do SEO certifications, etc. There is no drawback for a BCom student of in any form if you are planning to pursue HR from TES. Anurag, you don't need to worry on that front at all. Atul, apart from SP Jan, no other college will ask you to tell your specialization at the time of application itself. So don't worry. It's only SP Jan which would ask you. Mauli, this is but you will have to check out the eligibility for FABM for the colleges, for the IIMs which offer FABM. You will have to check out the eligibility, and if you are eligible, irrespective of the profile, you will stand a chance to convert it. It's more about clearing the eligibility criteria. Vani, I'll say it totally depends. Suppose say you are an engineer. for a person, no, suppose you are coming from maths background, Vani, and you can convert JE or get into an IIT, or you can crack and get into NIT or some of the top engineering colleges, then it makes sense for you to pursue your BTech and then go for MBA. But say if you're coming from a BCom background, BBA background, typically you will not have much to derive out of your graduation college, because unfortunately BBA BCom people, they are not paid a lot after their graduation placements, and ultimately most of them try to go for MBA as a fresher. So it makes sense for you to entirely try for IP-MAT if you are coming from a non-maths background where you don't want to go for engineering. You should definitely put IP-MAT as a first preference and then have BBA colleges as a second option. But say if you are from a maths background and you believe that you can crack a good engineering college, you should go for engineering plus MBA combination. So Vani, it depends that how comfortable and how strongly are you placed to crack an IIT JEE or an NIT. If that's something which is not strongly placed, you should definitely put IP-MAT as a first preference followed by BBA options. Prashant, if you are talking about NIT Surathkal from the perspective of MBA, it's a very poor option. It would typically fall in tier 4 category for MBA. Divya, for all of you who are asking me BBA options for entrance exams, I will share it separately in the group tomorrow. Let's focus right now on the MBA options. BBA options I will share in the IP-MAT group tomorrow. I'm seeing any more questions? Any more questions, anyone? Apart from BBA exams, any other questions? Internship is not a compulsion for you to get into a B school. But once you get into a B school, Sanjana, then internship is a part of your curriculum. Atul, which specialization would give you? See, tech-based company, you tech-based company will have a finance profile, tech-based company will have a marketing profile, tech-based company will have a product management profile, tech-based company will have a operations profile, tech-based company will have a HR profile. Atul, you cannot say that X specialization takes me to tech-based company. You have to see that what profile you want to get into and then think of the specialization. Specialization has no link with any company. Every company has a profile for every specialization. I hope that clears what I was trying to say. Pratham, would work play a role in getting a senior profile? Yes, Pratham, if you are a person with more than 2 years of experience, most of the colleges have a separate placement process called lateral placement process for people with more than 2 to 2.5 years of experience, where you get some advantage, where you may get a certain salary higher based on the number of years of experience you have. So Pratham, yes, definitely having WorkX helps in terms of your salaries via lateral payments. Divya, you should go for MBA without work experience. Does not make sense for you to do a job for a couple of years post your BBA. You should definitely go for MBA directly, Divya. That's the best option. That will save you 2 years. That will save you time, and you will ultimately get the same thing. Akriti, yes, 2.5 years is very appropriate for you to get into an MBA college. Very appropriate. Yes, Suraj, you can always get back to me on this with any queries. Always happy to answer these queries. You all are connected with me on WhatsApp group. Feel free to ask your doubts. Anmol, there is no such disadvantage. BCom or a BTech background does not matter once you get into a B school. Lenovo, I could read Lenovo as the ID that I'm a civil engineer with 3+ years of work experience. Ideally, you should try for MBA in supply chain. HR is not the right profile for you to go for. You will have an entire disconnect. You should try for MBA in supply chain and operations. Civil, mechanical, best suited for MBA in supply chain and operations, especially if you have 2 to 3 years of work experience in a plant or a manufacturing site. Anushka, it will help you. Anushka, it will certainly help you a lot. There is no comparison, Andrila. IPM is for class 12 students, CAT is for graduates. There is no point in comparing them. Great. So with this, I believe I have answered some of your questions. We will continue answering your questions. You can feel free to ask me your questions in the WhatsApp group. I'll end this session over here. And last question I'm taking up, Vani Shri, is CA plus MBA or BBA plus MBA better? BBA plus MBA is always better than CA plus MBA. Prashant, when I will share the detailed article on profiles tomorrow, I'll share with you the company names as well. Almost every company has a supply chain profile. Pharmaceutical department majorly try for sales and marketing. Again, these questions, these are not directly linked to specialization, which Pratham you are asking right now, Pratyush, which you are asking. BBA plus MBA or BCom plus MBA. See, BBA plus MBA is always a better option than any other thing. After BTech plus MBA, BBA plus MBA is the best option. Thank you, everyone. Again, Andrilla, there is no specialization as such. Every specialization is good. It depends upon the profile you want to get into. Finance people all aren't the same as marketing people do, as consulting people do. So you have to select the specialization based on your interests and the profile. Anushka, maths is not a compulsory subject, but definitely having maths would help you. Okay, I will share more details about BBA colleges and BBA exams tomorrow in the WhatsApp group. Vatsal, we will have something similar from MICA, but at the time of GEPI, not right now. Great. So thank you, everyone. Good night. I'll keep the session. No, I'll close this session now. I'll provide the recording soon. Thank you, everyone. I hope the session was of some use. Thank you. Good night.